We have therefore allowed the appeal on the policy ground. Proportionality. In this section, we refer to article numbers from the European Convention on Human Rights. We rejected the Home Secretary's appeal against the Divisional Court's refusal to hold that Article 17 prevented Articles 10 and 11 being engaged at all. And we turned then to the question of proportionality, undertaking our own fresh assessment. Article 10 protects the right of free speech, and Article 11 protects freedom of assembly. Special weight to the judgments and assessments of a primary decision maker with special institutional competence. The Home Secretary has special constitutional responsibilities and institutional competence when it comes to questions of national security. It is well established that issues of national security are central to the constitutional responsibilities of government. It is the executive government, represented by relevant ministers, which has the democratic authority to take decisions in relation to national security. The Home Secretary is thus better placed than the Court to adjudicate the balance of the various rights and interests engaged in the context of national security. Whilst the Court therefore remains the ultimate arbiter, the Home Secretary should be accorded a wide margin of appreciation or respect in making her judgment. In this case, the Divisional Court addressed the question of latitude to the Home Secretary only very briefly, stating that, when striking the balance, the Court must permit some latitude to the Home Secretary, given that she has both political and practical responsibility to secure public safety. We then turned to our fair balance assessment. In terms of the basic parameters of the balancing exercise, we emphasise the importance of the right to freedom of expression and that civil disobedience has a long and honourable history in this country. One of the fundamental questions for our fresh, fair balance exercise related to the nature of the Palestine Action organisation. Palestine Action characterised itself as a non-violent, direct action protest group, following in the footsteps of the suffragettes and the campaigns against apartheid and the Iraq War. In our judgment, that premise was seriously flawed. It was not a sustainable proposition to portray Palestine Action as a non-violent organisation, and not accurate for Ms. Amori to paint Palestine Action as an ordinary protest group engaged in activities falling within the well-established tradition of peaceful protest. The sentencing sheriff's remarks about one of the 3 terrorist incidents for which Palestine Action was responsible referred to the panic among staff who feared for their safety as pyrotechnics and smoke bombs were thrown into the area that they were evacuating. Further, none of the 3 terrorist incidents have been disowned or condemned by Palestine Action. Against that background, we turned to consider the factors weighing in the proportionality balance. Factors weighing in the balance against prescription. We again emphasise the importance of the rights of law-abiding individuals to freedom of speech and freedom of assembly under Articles 10 and 11. The prescription decision entailed a very significant interference with convention rights under both Articles 10 and 11, which should be neither overlooked nor understated. And 11 rights of individuals on the one hand, and the consequences of non-prescription on national security and the interests of the community on the other, we concluded that the prescription decision struck a fair balance. We therefore allowed the Home Secretary's appeal against the decision of the Divisional Court. The Divisional Court proceeded on the basis of a misinterpretation of the prescription policy. It was mistaken in its approach to the question of proportionality, in particular as to the relevance of future risk assessment and margin of appreciation. We had assessed proportionality afresh. Separately, for the reasons set out in our written judgment, we dismiss Ms. Amori's application for permission to cross-appeal. We recognise that the prescription of an organisation like Palestine Action is highly controversial. We recognise two consequential matters.
Yep.
From Netanyahu, not from this code.
This is the time to rise the fuck up, people! No more waving placards! Fuck this shit! You rise!
Well, it's like they're gaslighting us all in different ways. I mean, this is about terrorism, and then the other one's about anti-Semitism. It's sort of like different ways that they can make out that this opposition to the genocide is somehow immoral. I mean, it's almost like they're turning everything on its head. I mean, we're kind of meant to be immoral for opposing a genocide because people have one person used a sledgehammer or it's almost like we're being psychologically tortured by this dishonesty all the time, constantly.
Well, we have a duty to oppose genocide. I'm a former military officer. I am appalled that the British Armed Forces are actually being used to support it. I'm not just talking about the export of weapons, I'm talking about the intelligence support and overflights of Gaza at a time when British citizens were being murdered by the Israeli armed forces. There were RAF intelligence flights flying over Gaza. The base in Cyprus at Akrotiri is being used to support that. That we are welcoming Israeli senior officers and the Israeli president to come over and have the red carpet rolled out for them. It is unbelievable that we should be doing this, and it's a scandal, and it's shameful to the country. And there is that well-known book, One Day Everyone Will Always Have Been Against Us, and no doubt in years to come people will claim to have been against it, but they won't have been. And we will look back on this time as a shameful period in our history when instead of standing up for what is right, for which we have sometimes some of a tradition, and in the Second World War, British forces liberated a concentration camp at Bergen-Belsen, were horrified what they found, and now British armed forces have been engaged in support of the genocide. I'm just staggered that it should be allowed to take place. Yeah.
My name is Lisa Minerva Locks. I'm going to be reading out a statement on behalf of Huda Amori, who is the claimant and the co-founder of Palestine Action. And this is her statement. We are surprised by today's judgment after a panel of senior judges on the High Court, including the President of the King's Bench Division, decisively ruled that the government acted unlawfully in prescribing Palestine Action because of the significant interference with the rights of freedom of expression and peaceful assembly. We will fight this all the way. We will seek permission to appeal to the Supreme Court and, if need be, take this to the European Court of Human Rights. And we are confident that we will ultimately succeed, because criminalizing peaceful political protest in this way is a flagrant violation of our fundamental rights and freedoms in Britain, protected in the Human Rights Act, which enshrines the European Convention of Human Rights. We will not stop fighting. We will not stop fighting to overturn one of the most extreme attacks on free speech and the right to protest in modern British history. This unprecedented abuse of power has devastated the lives of thousands of people, while silencing dissent over Israel's slaughter of the Palestinian people during the genocide, when that dissent could not be more urgent. This is the first time in British history that a civil disobedience group has been prescribed as a terrorist organisation, placing Palestine Action alongside ISIS and Boko Haram, despite the fact that we do not advocate for violence, and we exist to save lives by disrupting the supply of weapons used by Israel against the Palestinian people. Throughout these proceedings, the government accepted that this prescription was based on property damage, not violence against people. By the government's own logic then, the suffragettes, anti-apartheid activists, and the anti-war direct action groups that Keir Starmer himself once defended as a lawyer could have been labelled terrorists. The British public knows that taking action saves lives and is not terrorism. We were banned because Palestine Action's campaign against Israel's largest weapons manufacturer, Elbit Systems, cost the company millions of pounds in profits and contributed to the loss of lucrative contracts. This prescription has always been about protecting the interests of weapons manufacturers and appeasing pro-Israel lobbying groups, not about countering terrorism. I have been overwhelmed by the extraordinary outpouring of support for Palestine Action since this ban was imposed. More than 3,400 people have been arrested for defying it, risking up to 14 years imprisonment. I have been in awe of the courage shown by thousands of people, from priests and pastors to retired doctors and former magistrates, including many elderly and frail or disabled people, and many who had never protested before, but nevertheless chose to stand up for our rights and for justice for the Palestinian people at immense personal cost. Their futures continue to hang in the balance while this ban remains in force. Every day it continues, this prolongs the injustice suffered by thousands of people, wastes millions of pounds of public money, and places further strain on an already overwhelmed criminal justice system, creating a further backlog in the courts and risking adding to already overflowing prisons. It is clear that thousands of people will continue to defy this absurdly authoritarian ban. And the police have already said that they do not have capacity to arrest everyone who defies it, showing that prescription is simply unsustainable, and that ultimately there is too much opposition for it to be enforced. The sentencing of 4 young Palestine Action activists as terrorists, despite them not having been convicted of any terror offence and without the jury being told that they faced terrorism sentencing, is one of the gravest miscarriages of justice to flow from this prescription.
Your corruption!
They acted to prevent further loss of life by destroying 40 military assets belonging to Elbit systems, including killer drones used in Israel's massacres in Gaza. We will fight to overturn those sentences. We will continue fighting for every person whose life has been upended by this prescription, for the right to protest war crimes without being criminalized as terrorists, and for the liberation of the Palestinian people who live under constant threat of weapons made on British soil by Elbit systems, Israel's biggest crime. I will now read a few words from myself, much shorter, but everything I say from here on is my words, and I'll finish the statement from Huda Amori.
Okay.
I'd like to just note that there was never a mention from Judge Carr just now about what Elbit Systems does. There was never a mention that they are the Zionist entity's biggest that they are the Zionist entity's biggest manufacturer of weapons, and the machinery that it produces includes the drones that fly into homes in Palestine through windows and doors to snipe people in their kitchens. That their drones are what is used in the likes of the Flower Massacre. Their drones work in swarms, hundreds of them moving together as one weapon to chase down children, teenagers, adults and the elderly. Over the past few years, we have seen the limbs of children hanging in shreds from half-standing walls. We've seen fathers carrying plastic bags with their children's approximate body weight in body parts. And direct action was a means for people who could not bear being complicit any longer and could not keep begging the powers that be to become their own decision makers. And I would like to note, and I'm sure some of you will remember this, that directly after prescription there were people who were being arrested for simply having the word Palestine on their sweater. And the prisoners, the Palestine Action prisoners, when they were released, they spoke to us about the fact that in prison, what had become prescribed was Palestine itself. People wearing the colours of the Palestinian flag were rearrested in court and taken for nickings. This is entirely about resistance for Palestine. So while it does affect all of our protest rights, this is significantly to do with the Zionist lobby's role in our judiciary system, and the only reason that the Filton Four have been sentenced as terrorists is because of that foreign interference in our judicial system. Saving lives, surprise, surprise, is not terrorism. It is quite frankly the opposite of the definition of terrorism. Destroying 40 drones is not terrorism when those drones were set to be used to slaughter Palestinians. Elbit and this government, however, are actively enabling that genocide. And I will end on the words that Eli Cameo said before being removed from court on Friday after sentencing, which was paraphrasing the Palestinian writer Marwan Maqbool. She said, "In order to hear the birds sing, the drones must be silent." And we are going to fight this, and we are going to fight for for them to be liberated, because for all of those in Palestine, in Lebanon, in Yemen and in Iran, we will be damned if we don't silence those drones. Let there be birdsong over Gaza.
To you folks, I'm Saeed, a spokesperson for Defend Our Juries and Lift the Ban campaign. Here we are again. I said it last time, I say it now, I'll say it again in the future until we liberate Palestine. Here we are again, stuck in an endless loop of manipulation and lies. And the biggest lie you heard today from inside that court was that Elbit Systems is a lawful company. Elbit Systems, playing a central role in Israel's genocide, is not lawful under international law. It is not lawful under Britain's obligations to the ICJ rulings. It's not even lawful under British domestic laws and their weapons licensing program. But the state thinks they won today. Because of this ruling, they have not won. In the process of proscription, this state has trashed its reputation internationally, has torn to pieces the fundamentals of democracy in Britain, and at the same time, they thought they were outlawing direct action, but they have created 100 new direct action organizations. This is the best illustration I've ever seen of the phrase, they thought they could bury us, they didn't know we were secret. Where they had one headache on their hands, a year ago they now have 1,000 headaches on their hands, a new direct action every week. Because direct action and the fight against genocide has never purely been one about the legal process. It's a movement of the people. It's a movement of the people here. It's the movement of your friends and comrades and allies, all of whom share an anger against this genocide, a fury against this state's complicity in genocide, and most importantly, an unending love for the Palestinian people that drives you. What today shows, and what this process shows, as it will take another year, 2 years, 3 years to go to the Supreme Court, to go to the European Court, is that no matter what happens in that building behind you, no matter what the government says in their declarations, no matter what the Home Office says in this country, your fight for Palestinian liberation cannot be crushed. And this direct action movement, all of you participating in the liberation and defense of the Palestinian people, cannot be crushed. So I'll leave you with that word. I will leave you hopefully with the love for Palestine burning in your hearts. And I'll turn it over to Tim Crosland, co-founder of Defend Our Juries. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for being here and for being witness to this crime scene, because that is what this building has become. Because when you suppress opposition to genocide, you make yourself an accessory to genocide, and that is exactly what these judges have done today.
Shame!
This is a shocking moment for anyone who believed we have democratic institutions. It is not acceptable in a democracy to use terrorism laws against people who are obviously not terrorists, who are trying to save lives. That is the hallmark of an autocracy. Saeed put his finger on it a moment ago when he pointed out this judgment is based on a completely false legal premise, that Elbit Systems is a lawful business. Those judges need to go back to law school. It is not lawful to facilitate a genocide at international law. It is not lawful under the International Criminal Court Act 2000, which is a piece of British law. Look up section 52. Aiding and abetting a genocide. That is so clearly what Elbit are doing. They are not a lawful business. But this is a self-defeating judgment from the state today, because we know that ultimately the prescription will be found to be unlawful, if not by the Supreme Court, probably not by the Supreme Court, because let's face it, the British courts have allowed themselves to be weaponized to suppress opposition to genocide, to preserve the shares for the arms companies, just like for the fossil fuel companies. That is their job, upholding the status quo, upholding power. But this prescription will fall at the European Court of Human Rights, and we know that because already the Council of Europe has said this is a shocking overreach, it's a shocking violation of international human rights law. So has Volker Turk, UN Human Rights Chief, so has Amnesty, so has anyone with any basic understanding of human rights law. But far more importantly, we will be winning outside court. And today, in many ways, is a great day for the movement. It's a great day for all of us who've been looking for a way to express our horror at what our government does, who before the 5th of July last year didn't know how to express our resistance, didn't know how to send a message. The government must stop using our taxpayer money to fund the slaughter of civilians, to fund the shooting of children, to fund the starvation, the rape of beautiful people in Gaza and the West Bank. But that prescription has given us such an easy way. All we need to do is sit down with our conscience, with our cardboard signs, which say, I oppose genocide, I support Palestine Action, and together our resistance will grow and build and we will win. Thank you.
As we have been speaking here, there are 100 sign holders just behind you who are currently being arrested for Section 13 of the Terrorism Act 2000. They continue defying the use of the terrorism legislation by this country, and we will continue to do so. Clearly, our silent sign holding has not sent the message clear enough, which I am surprised. 3,400 people have currently been arrested, and 100 more will be today if the police have capacity to do so. More than 1,300 people have been charged with terrorism. Not a single person had pled guilty, because we know we are not guilty of terrorism. We are guilty of having a conscience. We're guilty of standing against genocide. If that is what we are guilty of, say so. Defend our juries will escalate. Follow us online tonight. You will see what we will do next, and come to an open call on Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. and we will tell you how we will escalate against a corrupt state. The people will stand together, and we will not stop until Palestine Action is deprescribed, the Filton 25 are released from prison, the Bryce Norton actionists are released from prison, and every other political prisoner in this country has their charges dropped, has a terrorism connection dropped, and is released. Because they will be vindicated by history, why not do it now? If you're not being arrested today, I ask you to either do police station support or head to the Old Bailey, where the second trial group of the Filton are being heard today. They're facing repression in court. They will face repression afterwards. We need to stand up for them. Show up for the Filton 25, the Bryce Norton, the Moog 4. Show up for the people who are sitting down with their conscience and signs. Thank you.
Folk who live there, and then they do sell the land on the free market. They're making a living hell. Some pixies found out where these weapons were being made, so they came together in a clearing in the glade, concocted a plan to break all those weapons apart. That way they could save some lives, all guided by their heart. Fueled by courage sent by folk from lands both near and far, these pixies found the weapons store and tore those things apart. So they simply couldn't be used to end lives far away. Those pixies were plucked from the woods. You could cast spells so strong they'd be... That means ogres get to kill and maim by day, all while we're told to sit tight, look down and walk away. Those who cast these spells must know that ogres aren't so strong. And to make you...
Thank you!
Well done, my love. Well done. Well done.
And long may you live. Thank you, madam. Thank you so much.
I must admit, I feel some envy when you describe the security of the army.
Yeah. Let me ask you, was there any particular event that radicalised you at all?
Radicalised me, because we're very radical when we want to try and prevent a genocide and stop people getting murdered. That's very, very radical behaviour. A particular event, I think in October of 2023, when Israel started violently bombarding Gaza, through a population that can neither leave nor enter their territory. The borders of Palestine have been shrunk since 1948, when people were expelled from their homes and they were murdered by the Zionist state. And luckily, more and more people have become aware and are standing up against this injustice, and the genocide continues, so we continue.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you.
For being on the right side of history, not like some people. Thank you, man. Thank you, sir. Have a here, give me a round of applause. Thank you.
How should I identify you, sir?
With Grim Reaper. With Grim Reaper. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, madam. Thank you. Thank you.
So if you don't give details, I mean, like 4 or 5 hours?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Don't push me.
Folks come an awful long way, the length and breadth of the country. So I just salute them. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well done, my love. Thank you so much. Take care, won't you?
He knows the law quite well.
What?
He knows the law quite well.
Oh.
Domestic and international law right now. International wastemen. Stop lying. You can't.
Well done, my love. Well done.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, mate. Thank you. Thank you.
And I'm so proud of you. So...
So yeah, how are you feeling about today?
Absolutely despondent and broken-hearted, because the people here today in the Fulton 24 are not terrorists. They are people that are trying to destroy weapons that are being supplied to the terrorists, which is the Israeli government, who basically wants to kill innocent Palestinian children, babies, mothers, families, and just destroy them.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Ja, ein bisschen.
Ich möchte ein Tasse Tee mit Milch.
Später. Okay, stand up for me, please. Stand up for me, please. Is there anything I can do or say to get you to stand up?
Because it's there for you.
Okay.
Has you got any injuries or anything?
Got any injuries?
You need to be aware of. You got any pain?
You dropped me, yeah?
No, if you've got any pain or anything, you need to be aware of whilst removing you. Yeah? No? Or are you okay?
Take his backpack off as well.
Free Palestine! Shut Helmet, Carl! Woo!
You can see that you've got the sign
Thank you.